I have a good story about the first manager kind of guy that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he didn't officially manage me, but he like managed the first tour that I went on.
Yeah.
In like 2016, I think, like early.
Mm-hmm.
He managed these other kids that I knew. But anyway, he was like in charge of the tour, like it was all this stuff. And then Alex from Target's dad was also, it was like kind of a weird link. He was also working on the tour and like booking flights for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he was asking the manager for like his information, and it didn't pop up for the flight. Like they couldn't get his name in for some reason. They were like, are you using like a fake name or something? And like we knew this manager guy. Like we have hung out with him before. Like we're like 13-year-olds, whatever. And he was like, oh, that's like my fake name. So he gave him his real name, and Alex from Target's dad looked it up, and he was a registered sex offender.
What?
And that's why he wouldn't give his name.
What? That
was my first experience with a manager.
Jesus Christ.
Which is insane. Literally insane. He was like managing little boys. And then he told the story. He was like, I was just like peeing outside one time.
Oh, it's the classic.
And the cops came, but it's like, I don't know. You're a scary, scary man.
That is, there have been like a few stories like that. Like, oh, like I was drunk and I was like, I peed and it turned out it was a playground, and then like I got arrested.
That's like what it was like. I peed at a playground. Like is it you really?
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, I feel like if you really fought that, you'd be able to like clear that up. Like, but at the same time, the justice system is pretty screwed up. But it's also like, but then it's like, I feel like I've heard so many stories of people like using that excuse of like, oh, yeah, you know how it is. It was a technicality. They caught me on a technicality.
Technicality. That's what it was.
That is crazy.
So I'm not giving anybody my real name.
Yeah, that is
and
wild.
I'm gonna manage minors. It's insane.
How was he even allowed near you?
I don't know. He wasn't. Like, I literally think he wasn't. Like I don't know.
Oh my god. What is that?
But yeah.
Was that like an awkward confrontation, being like, hey man, like you're like a sex offender?
That wasn't involved. That was like we all like flew home like the weekend after, whatever. They were like setting up the next weekend for the tour, and he did not show up the next weekend because he was like kicked out. Alex from Target's dad laid down the law. He was like, my kid works at Target. We can't have this. And
that's crazy.
I never saw him again.
You were you were acquainted with Alex from Target, right?
Yeah. Oh, I met the guy, and the first time I met him at a Digitour, he I think we like went up to him and we were like, "What's up?" And he was just like, nothing much, just chilling in Cedar Rapids." Like, like the Hillary Clinton meme. The Hillary Clinton vine.
Nice.
That's that was my first encounter with Alex from Target from Twitter. Is him quoting a Hillary Clinton vine, which is like the most insane like
that
I've ever experienced.
That is crazy. That I always think about like how like Jake always tells me the story of how he met Jesse and Gina when he was a Viner.
Oh my god.
And he like he always like loves telling this tale of like how like I think Jesse was in an elevator with him, and then he was like, "You're so like you're a Viner, huh?" And then it was like, yeah, Jake was like, yeah, and then like they were like he was like asking like all these dumb questions, and then the elevator doors open and he says, "I guess I'll see you in 7 seconds." Then he walks out.
Oh my god, I remember hearing about this.
And it's like
these people aren't real. Like they literally are not. Their brains don't like. They think it's so cool.
Yeah.
Like there's no way Alex from Target didn't think that's like the coolest thing ever. Like when he was like, "I'm just hanging out in Cedar Rapids."
Yeah.
Like no big deal.
My favorite part about when I was at VidCon was every fucking person asking me the same thing. I was like, "So how was the flight over?" And it's like, it was good, man. Like it was a good flight. It's like.